rotate the camera so you guys can actually see what's going on a little bit better. So carrying on from yesterday, some of you may have seen the live that I did on Instagram. Because I do some of the lives on there. So I'm, there's no we here, stitching in the handle attachment strap. So these straps go on the bag to attach the buckle to the bag so that the strap handles, which is what's going on here next, can secure to the buckles. And this is a type of design where the stress of the bag is transferred to the base, because the bottom of these straps is, as you can see, stitched in to the base and is reinforced as well with nylon on the inside. But it also gives a lot more body to the bag, so it holds its shape a little bit better than a handle attachment that just is sewn in a small area on the bag. So not better, not worse, just a different design, different ideas behind it. Thank you guys for joining me. Where in the world are you guys watching from? It's a nice day here in the UK, the southeast of England. And it is 27 degrees Celsius in the workshop, so quite warm. Normally I wear overalls for when I'm working, but just a crappy t-shirt will do. Usually I wear overalls because obviously a lot of glue and oils and waxes and dyes and all sorts of lovely stuff that we use in Leathercraft. Don't really want it getting on my clothes, but when it's really warm out, it gets a bit hot in here. This is a old converted barn from the 1700s, so it's a whole load of roof that just goes straight up, and yeah, as the roof gets hot, so does the inside. There's no real loft space to protect you, so it tends to turn into a bit of an oven. So I have to open the back door, the front door, and the windows, let a little bit of a draft through. You might hear the hum of a fan going in the background. I've always wondered whether or not I'd get some air conditioning in here, but I won't be living in this part of the country for much longer, and this is rented space, so yeah, I don't think I will. In the new place, I think I might. We'll see how it goes. Daniel says, hi, hello. How are you? Thank you for joining me. So this is the last of the straps that are getting stitched in place. So several hundred stitches later. What all am I using? This is Jerome David All. I actually did a blog on this. Or did I do a blog on this? No, I didn't. It was a YouTube video, so it'll be on YouTube. And it was actually sent to me by Rocky Mountain Leathercraft to test out, and I did a review on it, and yeah, it's my favorite oil. These are made in France. The new versions actually have a bit of a textured grip on the titanium part. So this part here is titanium, the back is titanium, and now the rear end has like loads of rings on it, and the top end has like this kind of cross hatching, which I guess adds a little bit more grip, but I don't really like the look of it as much. I think these are about 70 or 80 euros in France. So it's I guess a little bit cheaper. Whether or not it makes a difference being made from titanium versus, say, stainless steel, other than increasing the price. I mean, I don't really feel any appreciative, you know, I mean, it's really hard, dense wood, so it's got some weight to it anyway. So whether it would make that much difference if it was stainless steel instead of titanium, I don't know. I mean, there is actually a steel, like threaded rod going from, so if you undo the back, there's a hole in the middle with steel threaded rod going from one side to the other to secure this, so that you could in effect turn the ferrule to change the angle of the awl blade as it enters, so you can keep the flat spot in the same place on your hand as you stitch, but you can rotate the awl blade so it kind of matches your pricking iron. And yeah, I mean, that would add weight. I guess it just try not to make it too heavy. Is it worth 100? Only you can answer that, really, and that was several years ago now, so I don't know what it is. Maybe 110, 120, I imagine. I don't know. You can still do the same thing with a Blanchard awl, or a Wouter, or Crimson Hides awl, 6T, Kevin Lee. Like, you can, as long as you know how to sharpen a blade, you can use all of them. But the benefit of this one is the blade is the only awl that I've ever bought that doesn't that didn't require any kind of sharpening from the get-go. The blade was perfectly profiled, it was polished, it was sharp, it went through leather like it really wasn't even there. I mean, I polish it up, I strop it up after or before every use on my little polishing block there. But I've done a hell of a lot of stitching where I haven't polished it, so I might as well do that now. I just pull it, make sure I've got the flat spot, pull it back a few times, just keep it polished, keep it sharp. Doesn't really need much. I mean, if I dropped it on the floor and it hit something concrete underneath, a screed or whatever, yeah, I'd run it along the diamond plate a few times and then strop it up for a minute or two, but it wouldn't take long. What are you holding your piece up with? Yeah, I've been asked that so many times. Along here, you can see I've got like a boom arm system. This is for the camera, for lights. I got my podcast microphone up there, as you can see. So that's basically what a boom arm is. And I just extend it out. I've got this piece here. This is a handle from, I guess, like a chest of drawers or a door or something. I don't even know where I got it from, but I kept it for some reason, as you do. And I've got that clamped onto there. That's what these are for here. So I've clamped that onto the boom arm, and then I'm using some clips here and here and one at the back to hold everything together or hold this upright. So it's just resting on the table here and it's clipped up the top there. And that is what I've been using. But yeah, I've been asked so many times. Well, that made a difference actually, just polishing that all. I've been asked so many times. I guess it's a big deal. I was actually saying in the course, which I was just filming. Where is my camera? I'll put it away. Another way of doing this, because you really want to get comfortable when you're stitching a big project like this. You don't want to have your back strained, your shoulders strained, reaching out extra far, and trying to be really dexterous with something. You want to take the time and get set up in a way that you can comfortably stitch without fatigue, or as little fatigue as possible at the very least. And one way that you can do that, it's not ideal, but in a pinch, if you have a high table, or even just a regular table, the higher the better. And then you have a piece of wood, maybe 2x1, 2x4, something like that. Place it on the top of the table, clamp it on one end, and have it overhanging the table. And then you can clamp your work to that. Obviously, you're going to have to sit on the floor, but if you put a pillow down on the floor, get yourself comfortable, you can still stitch like that, as long as you have something elevated that's solid that you can very lightly clamp this to, or whatever bag that you're making. Unless you want to create something, custom built for purpose. Yeah, there's nothing worse than 700 stitches that you're doing, and you're doing it really awkwardly, and it's because it's so awkward, it's really slow, and you feel like you're not even progressing when you've been doing it for half an hour. It's kind of demoralizing. So there was a famous expression, I can't remember who said it now. If I've got if I've got 8 hours to cut down a tree, I spend the first 6 sharpening the axe. It's kind of like that. You want to always get comfortable. So one trick I have found doing this is every so often as you're stitching, you get like a twist in the thread. It's not so bad on this one, but when I bring it together, it curls around. All I have to do is twist it one way or the other until it uncurls like that. Same on the other side, bring it together, untwist it, there you go. And then it relaxes. Normally I just let them go slack, but I can't really put them off the edge of the table here, unfortunately. Yeah, so just bring your thread together, bring it in, and if it curls around, twist it in the opposite direction. Otherwise, you build up a twist, you start getting knots, which are at best annoying and at worst impossible to get out without destroying the thread, unpicking it all and starting again. That has happened to me, unfortunately. But, 99% of the time I'll be able to get it out. Just got to persevere with it. Do you use linen thread or polyester thread? Which do you prefer? I would say it's kind of horses for courses. There are some instances where polyester will be a little bit better. It's one of those things. It's the benefits of linen thread are, one, the look. It has more of a matte finish to it, and more of a natural look to it. It has more historical significance. It's I guess you could say it's a little more romantic to use than artificial threads, or synthetic thread, should I say. But there are some instances where it is beneficial. For example, on this build, I'm stitching through the leather, through the Harris tweed, which is this wool fabric here, and through the lining of the other side. So I'm effectively making holes through the bag. Now, the benefit of linen thread is when it gets wet, it swells up and has the effect of plugging the hole. And the wetter it gets, the more it swells. So it's ideal in this situation. Whereas if I had something that was going to get a lot of outdoor use, obviously the piece would be designed more with harsh conditions in mind. But you could say that using synthetic threads like polyester is a bit better. Overall, I prefer linen. It's just a more traditional look and feel, and how it stitches. I'm more familiar with it. I did go through a phase a few years ago where I was all about the cabled polyester, which looks a bit more like linen than like tiger thread, flat braided polyesters and the like. But I kind of had a bit of I fell back in love with the linen a bit, maybe a few years ago. I just like the traditional aspect of it, but I don't think it makes a huge difference either way. There aren't people's bags coming apart because they were stitched together with linen thread and not polyester thread. I mean, it's going to be quite rare. You'd have to really abuse it in a very certain way for that to happen, and most of the time it would be because you're using inappropriate thread thickness with your linen. I've seen some people stitch bags together in things that are load bearing with very thin thread to make it look a little bit more elegant. And you're just thinking, that's a part that gets a lot of friction. It takes weight, it's load bearing, and it's structural, as in it's crucial to the structure of the product. And usually the problem with threads unraveling or being damaged is the wrong design considerations, not so much what thread you choose. So use the one that you enjoy using, the one that feels a bit more special to you. And if you really don't care, then polyester is quite cheap, isn't it? That's a good thing about poly threads. Nylon I wouldn't use so much. Mainly because it's very slightly stronger than polyester, and it's cheaper. And you're thinking, well, why don't people use nylon thread then? Why is that not more popular? And the issue with nylon thread is it's not very UV resistant. It degrades its strength after a very short period of time in the sun, absorbing UV rays, and very quickly becomes weaker than polyester. So while it starts out quite strong, over time it breaks down through UV exposure. That does happen to a certain extent with polyester, just nowhere near as much. Having a little trouble because my fingers are a little sweaty. Having trouble pulling the needle through. Oh, I did that on the rear side. So I'm having to use some little pliers here to pull them through, mainly because I've actually started stitching through the overlap. So this leather here comes around the buckle and then goes back on itself and skives down to a taper to about here. So as I'm stitching back, it's getting thicker and thicker and thicker, making it harder and harder and harder to stitch. But we persevere. I could use a slightly thicker awl blade, a bigger awl blade, to open up the holes a little bit more, but I like having a bit of tension. I'll manage that one. A bit of tension as you go through, because you know that you're using the minimum amount of hole size for the needles and the thread that you're using, because you don't want to make massive holes in your leather work. It's the minimum required amount to be effective is what we're after. I'm having to move the belt buckle out of the way a little bit here. I'll stitch this to the end, guys, and then what I'll do is I'll unclamp it so that we can tap down our stitches here. And then what I'll do is show you the back of the bag and the front of the bag. And bear with me. This is where this particular awl comes in handy, because it goes through so easily with minimal friction, that when I'm kind of balancing my fingers, holding a belt buckle back, bending the bag out the way so the buckle can turn, you know, if you're fighting a dull awl blade or a heavy thick awl blade, it's a real pain. So what I'm going to do now is put my needle through the buckle, close the buckle up, and now I should be able to stitch inside the buckle. And as I back stitch, I'll need to backtrack on that. Rooster Conlon. They're so hard to read unless it's really obvious, when there doesn't allow any spaces. Oh, I guess it does allow spaces, doesn't it? Yeah, I guess you've chosen not to. Got there in the end. Okay, so I can lose my bladed awl now, and I can back stitch. I'm going to go back along here just to open up, because we've got double layer of thread in there now. Transfer this needle through. Open up the next one. And I'm still doing a little bit of a cast on every stitch. I went through at the wrong angle. There we go. And last one, I'm not going to use the awl, I'm just going to try and push this through to finish it off, because it kind of looks like it'll have 3 backstitch, but it's just one, it's 2 with a tuck in at the end. So I'll finish this now, and then I'll take it out the clams once I've just trimmed it. One of those stitches to lay neatly side by side, as always. Details make perfection, but perfection is not a detail. Okay, so let's take this out, that clamp first, and then this, and then this. All right. So this is where we are right now. So this is our bag base that we're working with here. So it's the veg tan leather, straps veg tan leather as well. On the inside, we've got our chrome tan. And you can see this is a glue-in project. So this is something I get asked a lot about, the difference between a glue-in versus leaving a lining loose and just securing the edges through glue and stitching. And the difference, and we've never done a full glue-in, so this is something that I wanted to include in the masterclass. It does make it simpler. There are pros and cons to every different type of design, but on this one you can literally see the stitching. Now you can go ahead and dye this, so that this side will be dyed the same color as the lining, and then that side will remain a contrast, in this case an off-white. But I kind of like the stitchy look on the interior. I've gone to the great efforts of casting every single stitch, so I may as well see my handiwork every time I reach for my socks when I go away on the inside of the bag. Cool, guys. Have one more to do, which I'll be doing off camera now. Let's tap these stitches down. Where are we? This one here. Okay. Let's get our polished hammer. I'll do the top ones over the edge of the table. That will need to be bent over so I can get access to that. So I'll do that right on the edge of the table. That flattens those down nicely, closes up the holes, and being a natural thread, you know, when it gets wet on the outside, it plugs the hole so it won't be transferring moisture onto the inside of the bag. So that's one of the reasons I didn't go for polyester on this. Amongst others, I like working with linen thread. So yeah, so last seam is coming up next. But in the meantime, guys, don't forget, if you're brand new to Leathercraft, grab the hand stitching video, which is a free video available on my website, leathercraftmasterclass.com, which I'll link below so that you guys can go and visit. Enter your email address and I'll send you a free hand stitching video so you can see exactly how I do it from different camera angles. So if you're brand new to this and you want something to get you started, it's a great one to watch. And if you are seasoned, then you know you get to see the way I do things, maybe pick up a tip or two. But in the meantime, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next live. Don't forget to hit the notifications because I will be doing a lot more lives for this bag build. And coming up next, we'll be installing a gusset on each end and including the zip. There'll also be shoulder straps being made, and of course, they're not here right now, but we have a little brass micro lock which I'll be wrapping with leather, and I'm actually thinking of making a YouTube video or doing it live to put that free content out for you guys if you're interested in doing something like, you know, wrapping a small project like a lock, which I think is really cool. But yeah, keep watching, keep your notifications on, and I will see you in the next live. Take care, guys. Have a great day.